Let's make some primitive hunting arrows. Here's a bundle of red osier dogwood I cut last winter. This is one of the best plants in the western states to make arrows from. It's a bush with red stems and you always find it near water. First thing you have to do is scrape all the bark off. That's pretty easily done with a knife, or you can use stone flakes if that's all you have. Hold the blade directly perpendicular to the arrow shaft and give it a scraping motion. There we go. Got a few more to do and then we'll straighten them. There we go. You can see they're all somewhat crooked. So now we're going to heat them up over a fire and bend them straight. All you gotta do is warm it up over the fire. Want it to be about too hot to touch, so use something to protect your hand. And it's okay that the outside of this scorches a little bit. That hardens it, makes the arrow a little bit stiffer. Bend it straight and it'll cool straight. You can see it's a lot straighter except that end now. This is exactly how it's been done for thousands of years. There we go. You got those arrow shafts straightened. Amazing what a little fire will do. Now they're all pretty rough and they have scorch marks on them, so let's sand that off. All you need is a bandana or a large leaf and a little bit of sand. Now we carve the notches for the bowstring. You'll notice there's a thick end and a thin end of these arrow shafts. Put the notch on the thin end. First we'll carve this side flat. Carve out a small flat face on both sides. That way the end of the arrow starts looking a bit like a thick flathead screwdriver. And carefully carve a wedge. Just like that. I accidentally made a split in this one, but that's okay. I'm going to sinew wrap right around here, and that's going to secure that. This is a tendon off the back of a deer. I peeled it into strips like this. This is called sinew. Now to use it, either soak it or chew it up. Chewing works the best. Saliva seems to soften it a lot faster than water. That's kind of weird. It feels like plastic when it goes into your mouth at first. Pretty soon it softens up into basically a piece of gum. There we go. Put one end right below the knock. Give it a couple wraps to secure it. Continue wrapping down just like this. Tie a single knot, pull that tight, cut the tag end, use the rest of that for the next knot. Now I'm gonna let that dry by the fire. I don't want to get it too hot, I just want it to dry quickly. And then I'll put a little bit of glue over top of it. With the sinew drying, next thing we'll do is make fletchings. Lots of feathers work for this. I like to use turkey feathers or goose feathers. Now just make sure the feathers come from the same side of the wing or tail of the bird. So if you're using wing feathers, make sure they're all from the right wing or all from the left wing. Start at the top of the feather, peel it. With a little practice, you can keep the peel straight in the middle. Now I'm going to use my knife and shave down this quill a little bit more. Now we'll shorten the feather a little bit. Grab the veins, peel them like this. Leave that tag end because that's what we'll use to tie onto the arrow. Trim off any excess you don't need. There we go. Melted up a pot of glue so we can glue on the fletchings before we tie them with sinew. Put some glue over top of the sinew that I put behind the knock. That will give us a spot to adhere back ends of our fletchings. Now the first fletching you want in line with your knock, just like this. With the glue holding the first one in place, we'll wrap a little sinew. Just wrap it halfway around and we'll seat the next one in, just like that. Give it a twist. We'll wrap it all the way around now. Then seat that last one. They should all be hanging like this. Just continue the wrap down and tie it off. I just used a little bit of glue at the front of these fletchings to temporarily secure them down, but you might be able to see that the fletchings really want to lift up, so I'm going to use a little bit of sinew in the middle of all the fletchings, and then at the end. Just tied with an overhand knot. With the back secured and the middle secured, now just use a little sinew and tie up the front. Having that little bit of glue there makes this really easy. Alright, now that's an arrow. Let's trim down the fletchings though. Just get yourself a board of some sort and a sharp knife or a stone flake. There we go. You can see the fletchings have a little bit of a twist to them. That really helps with stabilization of the arrow in flight. Now a hunting arrow is not complete without an arrowhead. Let's secure that to the front. We'll carve another flat section on both sides just like we did with the knock. Only this time we'll make them a bit longer. Carve it out carefully like you did before. It's harder on this end because it's so thick. Then taper the front a little bit. When you seat the arrowhead, the transition is pretty seamless. You can even use a stone arrowhead to help shape the seat of the arrow, especially to help make it deeper. The sawing motion of a stone blade is really helpful in that aspect. There we go. With some glue and sinew, that's going to make a great seat for the arrowhead. Pretty simple from here on out. Apply a generous amount of glue to the base of the arrowhead. Now if you lick your fingers to spread the glue, it won't stick to you. More sinew. Get that sinew as tight as possible to prevent splitting and to squeeze that joint shut.